going to go live early because you know what? All people see is the coming. Say hello, beautiful, lovely. Wait, I can do better than that. I can do better. Hold on. There it is. Oh, yeah. Hi, Sheila. Nice to see you.
Okay, she ran off.
What a nice way to start the stream, huh? Isn't that a nice way
that was my wife.
To go live saying hi to Sheila? That's it's very nice. Anyway, hello, Danny Fields Gaming. Hello,
yes,
Spin.
hello all.
Hello, Danny and Spin. That's all we got right now. But, you know, it's not about quantity. It's about quality, you know.
Right.
Anyway, Bobby and I were talking politics, which I don't think we're going to really bring into this stream.
We'll leave the politics off the stream. But
yeah, we keep it off. But we're going to discuss something kind of political, you could argue. You know, the extension 2.0 of like online bullying. And, you know, well, we'll get there. But first, let's do the pleasantries. Oh, shall we? Okay. Spin Music is here. Whoa, where's Bobby at? Bobby?
I am in Mammoth Mountain. I came here to ski for the week and instead sat in the room for a week because it was blizzard conditions all week. The mountain was closed. Today, the day that I'm leaving, is beautiful. Sunny, man. Nice.
Did you get some skiing in at least?
I got some on Monday. So I came on Sunday night. I got some on Monday. And it was supposed to stop by Wednesday, and it just insane.
And you know, I mean, not to be a bleeding heart or anything, but it is sad what happened with the avalanche, the skiers in
right
in
Lake Tahoe.
In Tahoe. So and you know, I just, you know, it's very sad. And but you know,
a couple people have already died on this mountain.
Yeah,
one guy last week.
Yeah,
it's
tragic. Sad. It's always sad.
Yeah.
You know. Hello, Miles Game Studio. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I am trying to do a better job of keeping track of the chat. Something I've not been fantastic about. But anyway, you know that 5 people were rescued because of the satellite feature on their iPhone? You know, that it has emergency.
Well, it's such a great feature. I practiced it every time I'm here. I practice.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of dead zones, and just so that in case something goes wrong, I can quickly be like, okay,
it's no joke, man. No joke.
Right.
Anyway, that thing can save your life, and you know, it's and it's just thank goodness, no. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So let's see.
I think we can start with the elephant in our room.
Should we go with the elephant in our room?
Yeah,
sure. Start there.
Sure.
Oh, guys, you know,
I just fixed
where do I start with this one? Yeah, you know, so I guess we'll start with this extension of what I consider to be online bullying and harassment. So yeah, I you know, after last week's stream when I was discussing the matter, I was very, very careful to specifically, I said something, and I'm quoting, you know, I will not mention names. I believe those were my exact words, right? And the reason I refused to mention this person's name, so one thing I've learned over time is that when someone is angry with you for any reason, very often what gets rolled into that anger is a whole lot of other, you know, things that hurt them. And then they sort of, some of that comes out, you know, sort of seeps out a little bit into the anger that they're, you know, expressing in that particular moment. And so the reason I don't mention this person's name, nor do I mention, you know, any of the great work. I mean, this guy does great work. There's no question about it.
Right.
I think, you know, and I'm not going to even mention how it, you know, because it could give away his identity. And I refuse to do that because I have enough respect for people. You know, I do. I really do. I would even invite him to be a guest on my channel and very sincerely, very, very sincerely, calmly, just discuss all of it, you know.
Right.
This person keeps pointing out, you know, that I owe him an apology, and I don't really know what for. But because he never really specifically said. And the truth, don't read in detail the emails because they're full of hate. And I would use the word hate because he insulted my girlfriend.
Well, anger, a lot of anger.
A lot of anger. But I think when you specifically insult somebody's girlfriend, like you're crossing a line into
low blow.
Right. And now the specific words were, his poor girlfriend, like as if she's not a strong, independent woman, which she is. And she can't somehow put me in my place because she does. And she's the best person I know, I want to tell you a story about this, in fact. And this, has to do with my own mental health. Look, the purpose of this channel, let's get this out of the way. My channel is not a, composing channel.
Right.
That's not what it is, right? This is a place for, people who happen to love the soundtrack of Pac-Man and want to have some, kind of connection to, to me, the person who, created that music, and I'm happy to have them. But we talk about what we want to talk about on this channel, including my mental health issues. I've got them. I suffer major depression, and, I'm not afraid to talk about it. And, which, by the way, oh yes, Danny Fields, you too. Have a great day. Which he also put in his email to me, exploiting the fact that somehow my acknowledgement of being an insecure person, which most artists are very insecure people, is somehow a bad thing. And I don't see it that way, I think that, I want to read something, in fact, because I think it's important, especially for our audience. Because, this person seems to think that I'm a fraud music educator. Well, first of all, let's get a few things straight. I am not a music educator. That's not what I am. My philosophy of education is as follows. I believe there's a right way and a wrong way of doing things. And then I think there's my way of doing things, which maybe falls somewhere in between the right way and the wrong way. But it's worked for me. Right? It got me gigs like X-Men Mutant Academy, like Pac-Man World 2, Pitfall 3D, the Asteroids reboot, Captain America. I mean, I've worked with recording full live orchestras. My career has been blessed. I'm not one of the biggest composers in gaming, but I don't need to be. I have my small little space in the world, and I'm happy to be small, By the way, you can hear there's some emotion in my voice and some throat breaking on the verge of tears moments because I'm being very sincere. I don't know any other way of speaking about this matter. And I'm emotional because, I always tell my students that I'm a composer first and a music educator second. And I say, because if I view myself as a teacher first, I'm not really a composer at that point, am I? I'm focusing on teaching. Right. I would have gone to teachers college, for example, and gotten a degree in, Now, I'm also, to address another thing, I graduated magna cum laude from Berklee College of Music, and you cannot do that unless you are very proficient in the area of music theory. So these whole charges that I'm somehow a fraud because I chose to use a simplified explanation, because the people who come to this channel,
right,
this
is not the place for that.
I don't have a music theory channel. This is not what I do here.
Yeah,
so
right.
when this person, when this person asked me to describe the difference between the black notes and the white notes, I used a pedestrian explanation. Okay, and it's not a bad one, right? The white keys are diatonic. Well, why? Because that's true. They are diatonic. The black keys are pentatonic, and that's also true. And you put them all together and you get a 12-tone scale, chromatic, right? This is all factually true. You cannot deny any of this, okay? And yes, of course, I know that you can have the same organization and pattern of notes to represent a major key anywhere. And yes, it's not as simple as, a black key equals or an accidental or an enharmonic equivalent or any way you want to describe it. Okay. Doesn't automatically equal anything because all music and relationships between notes are completely, well, they're all fixed, but they're also relative. So depending on where I move from one place to another will change the outcome. Raising or flattening a note will change the mode or scale, right? So I hope that puts to rest the argument between the white keys. And by the way, I am inviting you onto my stream. I am, because if you have an explanation that's different, I want to learn. I crave learning.
Right.
And I think
it's a discussion.
It's a discussion, right? And if I've missed something and I'm misinforming people, if somehow all the black keys don't equal a pentatonic scale, and there are two varieties, by the way, the major and the minor, at least that's how I was taught. I want to know. Please, 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 I beg you, come on my show and explain it all to us, because the one thing about me that is great, I think, as a music educator, is that when I'm wrong, I admit it right in the class. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to write that down because I don't want to misinform anybody, because I don't.
Right.
I don't, right? So if I'm wrong, please come and tell me, like, why I'm wrong. And why would it be wrong to describe the difference between white keys and black keys to someone who's not here for theory education? They're coming here because they just want to hang out with me and talk about Pac-Man and talk about life, maybe learn something about, anything and everything. So here's what I want to do right now. I just, I won't take too much time on this, but over the years, my heart has been truly touched, by the way, by some of the lovely students I've had over the years, and specifically from the gratitude that they have expressed to me. I want to read this one line, because one of the things I love about being a gamer and spending my Friday night with other gamers, I believe gamers are generally disenfranchised people. I do. I really believe this. And I think that part of the reason that that we get together is to feel maybe like we're not a bunch of losers, which I felt like a loser my whole life. No, really. Well, and the reason I'm pointing this out is it'll put into context. This was a very long, I'm like talking like a 2-page long email that this student wrote to me. Like, I won't read the whole thing, but it's the last line. Is this: thank you for helping me understand that I am not necessarily a loser, a freak of nature, a living mistake, and that maybe I can give something good to the world. And isn't that right? And isn't that what we're trying to do here, Bobby? Like, aren't we doing 100%. This to give something good to the world?
100%.
I sincerely, this person describes me as a fraud. And again, like, my voice is a little bit cracking because it hurts. Right. It hurts, Bobby. I'm not going to lie. It hurt. I ignore it mostly. I didn't read the whole email. As soon as I saw all these lines and he insulting my girl. Actually, most of the email I only read to you because you were in shock and utter awe about the fact that
I couldn't believe
I mentioned that
far.
he insulted my girlfriend.
It's crazy.
It's so sad. And when somebody goes so low, so low to insult your girlfriend, I mean, that's honestly that's
to essentially a stranger,
like I don't know him from a hole in the wall. So
right.
Here's another one, and I want to read this. By the way, I have pages of this because, again, listen, I do have low self-esteem, and I do feel like a loser, and I do feel like I am a person of zero value and zero worth in the world. I've always felt that. That's my default. So when someone does say something really kind to me, I put it in a little book, a collection. And when I feel bad, I'll just read it and be like, hey, you know what? You've done some really good things in the world. By the way, I'm not looking at the chat. I'll catch up as soon as I finish reading this. Your webinar changed how I look at writing music. The stream changed my approach to education. This is another fellow music teacher. I wouldn't say fellow because I'm a composer, but so is he. And he's a really genuine guy. I teach a class that is basically the holistic musician practice performance history, theory, and composition. The stream fundamentally changed how I approach that class and the regular band classes I teach. You helped me become comfortable with being myself as an educator and not trying to be a different type of person. So, clearly I am not a fraud. I've got receipts, guys. I got the receipts right here. And I got pages and pages of this stuff. And I'm saying this because apparently in the latest harassing email, a whole bunch of people were CC'd, right? Like 5 or 6 people got CC'd, including my business partner. He doesn't need that in his life. He doesn't need to be, what the hell's going on here? Should I be worried about this?
Bizarre.
And so apparently they're preparing a hit job on me. They're going to expose the truth of David Logan. How they even insulted Nick and Spin, who I will mention by name. They insulted you, guys. They insulted you, right? So, go ahead with your hit job, but why not interview me or include some of these things that I have just mentioned without clever and deceptive editing? Why not do that?
Right, just come
right?
on.
Why not word for word put up the quotes about how I have changed people's lives? Okay, and I can go on. I got tons of this stuff, you guys.
I think, Spin, you are just that good. I think it's interesting that this all started from a timing miscommunication at best.
Doesn't matter how it started. It started.
My only point being is that for some reason they just keep escalating, and we haven't
done anything,
addressed it, responded, whatever. But the topic at hand is online bullying. I think this is
bullying.
This is bullying. Like, you're
insulting my girlfriend.
If you want to say something, log on and say, hey, I'm here. I want to have a chat.
Exactly. Anybody, Bobby, beautifully put, because anybody, and we mentioned this last week, that there used to be consequences to bullying, right?
Right.
Years ago, I was a teacher at the Toronto Film School, and I said something offensive in the class. I was just pointing out something factual, right? And I don't know, it was something as simple as, that, Son House and Willie Dixon and Robert Johnson were, all bluesmen, black bluesmen of the Mississippi South, right? Which that is factually true. There's nothing false about that, right? Stevie Wonder is black. Like, nothing factually false about any of this, right? A student was offended because I made it about black people. And, I was just saying how the birth of blues changed life as we know it on the planet, So they reported me to the dean, and the dean called me in, and, before, I have to mention before what happened. So I said, I didn't mean to offend you. I said, but, this student said, you shouldn't even be allowed to teach here. And clearly I struck a nerve, right? I said, well, listen, you know what? If you really feel this way, I want you to go to the dean's office, and I actually sincerely want you to report me to the dean and do everything as accurately as you can from your side. And everybody in the class looked stunned. And even the student looked stunned. And she asked me, she's like, well, why do you want me to do that? I said, because I would never want to teach at a school that didn't support what I am trying to help you understand. And if it's truly offensive saying that black people invented blues, which they did.
How is that offensive?
Well, right, because it's just factually true,
that's
right?
the truth.
Like Son House was not white. Willie Dixon was not white, right? I mean, it's true that some white people wrote some of the biggest blues hits of all time, including Hound Dog, right? Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller wrote that song for Big Mama Thornton, who was black. And then Elvis heard it actually in Las Vegas, and he loved the song, and the rest is history. He made it famous, right? So anyway, so they were all shocked. So of course the student did very accurately. The dean took very careful notes, and you know, I went in and I told my side of the story, and I said, her name was Susan, the dean, wonderful woman, very wise. And I said, Susan, listen, you know, if I cross the line here, fire me. Like, I'm happy to step down. I don't need this job. You know, you guys have to understand that I don't teach because I need the money. I teach because I love to help people. You know, teaching is a tiny, tiny little part of my income, you know. And by the way, you know, if these people want to go ahead and contact my school, you know, San Luis College of Music, that's where I teach in Rome. Go, please. I welcome you. You know, send the worst you can send about me. Because if they believe that what you're saying is true, they'll probably request an interview and that we all get together and discuss it. I'll resign. If I'm really the enemy of music theory, as you described me. I'll resign.
Afraid, man.
No, but you know why? Hold on, but
theory.
you know why I will resign? Is because I would never want to hurt anyone, you know, or misdirect anybody or mislead anybody, you know. Anyway, let's catch up on some of this chat. But I guess, you know, in closing, I admire this person's work. I really do. And I'm saying it publicly. And I would, if this person agrees to come on to my stream, of course, I'll mention their name on my stream. And I'll mention that they really do. And I'm being very sincere. See, it's hard to understand tone in an email, right? But here I am. I'm just going to go full camera. Oh, look at that. We got lucky. I do. I am looking in the camera and I'm telling you, I do sincerely value your work. I think you sincerely did a great job on, you know, the thing you presented. I don't understand why you are so angry with me, but if you want to come on my stream, I'm happy to talk to you in front of everybody.
Or even in private. You know,
even what?
Even in private.
Yeah,
he's not comfortable coming on the stream. You know,
if you exactly, like if you want to meet in private. Because the thing is, you know, the truth is that it hurts me, not because I believe any of this to be true, because it's utterly garbage what this person wrote. It's absolute garbage. It hurts me because I don't like the idea that I have hurt someone. He is angry. He is hurting. It's very clear because you don't say really mean, really nasty things and insult somebody's girlfriend and insult the audience of the person unless you're hurting inside. And I think he's hurting. And I honestly, like, if he got on a plane and came to Rome tomorrow, I would meet him at the airport and I'd fucking hug him. I would hug him. Because I tried to reach out to him. I did. Very sincere. By the way, that was a very sincere attempt where I tried to reach out. Because he did something of great value, I thought. And you were the first one to see that video. And this guy, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. You were the first one to see it. And you said, wow, he did a really good job, David. And I'm like,
and I sent it to you. I was
that's
like,
exactly what you said. And I'm like, well, he didn't like talk shit about me. And you're like, no. And it was great. And I have really high respect for this person because he didn't mention anything bad about me or any of the things in his email. And I thought he was going to do that, you know. Now, he has since told me he's going to warn the world about me. Okay, you know. But my olive branch was how I described it in my email. I was like, you know, let's bury the hatchet. I'm offering you an olive branch. And Then he explained to me why I'm a fake and a phony and all these other horrible things. But I would meet him, I would hug him, and I'm being as sincere as I know how to be, Bobby. I don't want malice in my life. I don't want anger. And listen, guys, this is how serious it is. Again, not because he said any of these bad things or insulted my girlfriend. Again, it's because for me, it's not worth it. But I told Bobby, I said, I don't want to stream anymore. Yeah. I said, let's cancel the stream, because, if this is the result, if this is the malice it's going to cause in my life, that I get CC'd on this email of this hit job that they're planning on me. I think they're doing an expose on fraudulent music teachers or something like this, or I don't know exactly, something like that. But knock yourself out, man. Knock yourself out, And anyway, let's catch up on some of this. Anyway, I guess the point is, it actually, just to finish, it hurts me inside. All of this hurts me. And I don't want that in my life. It hurts me that there's somebody out there that thinks I'm such a terrible threat to society because of my ideas. Like, isn't that like fascism? Like, isn't that what fascists kind of do?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Or am I going too far, Bobby? Put me in my place.
I would just say that the very first, how can you say that we should have free thought and everybody's free to say what they want?
Oh, the thing about free speech, that I am not an American, so I don't understand free speech. It's like, well, why are you all trying to silence me?
That's right.
Like, what if I were to say that there's actually only 10 keys between the octave? And I think
I'm going to say that from now on.
Like, there's only 10 keys in an octave, okay?
10 keys in an octave.
There's not 12 anymore. It's like, don't I have the right to say that? And because
it's a discussion.
Anyone who hears that can fact check it and be like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But I think anybody who were to tune into my streams and see you and I, Bobby, and how we love our audience, and we have a rapport with our audience, and the fact that I always use this button and I get nervous if it doesn't work before the stream. Right. I'm like, Bobby, my emotes aren't working. Help me.
Yeah.
It's because I just, I try to do everything in my life with love, with real, genuine, sincere love, And I think I mentioned this last week, but I'll mention it again, because it's about my girlfriend, who might be listening right now. Poor her, right? Because that's what this person wrote in the email. My poor girlfriend was forced to listen to me in the other room. Like, what are you even saying, man? Like, what are you even, like, she loves my streams and she laughs and she understands that I have a past. I was trying to tell a story about life, and we use the past in order to control our future, right? Oh, you dropped that on your foot and it hurts. Try to not do that again, right? So we try to recall things, and then that helps us. So because I have low self-esteem, I'm not proud of that, by the way, but it's a fact. And I've worked on it over the years, though, Bobby. I've worked really hard to try and develop a little bit of confidence, right? So I had my head in my hands.
You did get the MKS 80. Right. So.
Sorry. Oh, that was brilliant. That was too beautiful, man. That was too beautiful. Right. I'm so insecure that I needed an MKS 80 to make me feel like a real man, like a real composer. Because Hans Zimmer has 6 of them. So at least I can have one. Bobby, I am 1/6 of a man. Oh. Anyway, so look, I was having a really hard moment in my life. And my girlfriend was like, what's wrong, baby? And I just said, I just feel like I'm a bad person, and I don't feel like I'm a good person at all. And there was a reason. I forgot the reason, but I remember what she said. She said, a truly bad person would never worry about being a bad person. They would just go around being a bad person and not care at all. The fact that you're even asking that question shows what a good person you are. And then she said, do you think I'm a good person? And I said, you're the best person I ever met in my life. She's like, do you think I would be with a bad person? And from that day on, that was one of the greatest self-esteem boosters I ever had in my life. Because my girlfriend is literally, she's the best, you know, and how dare you speak of her? You have no right to do that. None. It's very upsetting, you know? And, you know, you can do whatever you like, man. Do your worst, you know, clip this and say David Logan's crocodile tears. Whatever you want, man. Knock yourself out, because I cannot be destroyed. You know, like, I can't. I'm strong with the Force. I really am, you know. And, you know, I am truly a blessed man. I have two amazing business partners, Emanuele and Bobby. I've got my wonderful girlfriend. And I have a very small group of people who really appreciate my honesty and my candor, you know. I just got a text message from a student yesterday saying that, you know, essentially, you know, something about the one thing they appreciate the most about me is that I don't lie to them, right? I tell them the truth. So example, if they write a piece of music and, you know, I just, you know, like maybe there's no counterpoint, the voice leading is subprime, maybe there's no secondary dominance, maybe they don't understand the difference between modal writing and modal interchange. By the way, person, you might want to look that up. What is the difference between modal writing and modal interchange? Because there's a difference. And just saying, you might want to look into that. Anyway, so whatever, you know, guys, it's like, I'm sorry I got so emotional, but it hurts, man. It hurts, you know. And I got emotional, you know, realizing just how blessed I actually am in life. I am truly blessed. Truly blessed. Really, I am. All right, let's get caught up on some of this chat and maybe change the vibe a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most of it is about all of this, but
well, okay, so fine. Let's at least catch up. And I'll try not to re-engage. Okay. So wow, I'm so sorry, guys, but I got carried away and I got emotional. Why? I am a human being. I am not AI. I assure you. Now, Bobby, on the other hand, I have this theory that he's not AI either. But shh, don't tell, because the guys over at Grok and Anthropic think he is. So we're trying to fool them. So we're gonna do a big takeover. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see what people are saying. I know it's probably all going to be like, don't worry about the haters. You're awesome. And, you know, anyway, which I appreciate. So, okay. So interesting that a random X, you know, tried to call David a triple A. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. I must be a fraud because, you know, why would Namco, you know, trust me with, you know, a very good amount of money to write the soundtrack for Pac-Man. First to do Tales of Destiny. And I was so bad that they're like, you know what? We want to make bad music for our games. Let's get David Logan to do Pac-Man World 2. Right.
Round 2. Right.
Like, I'm so bad and such a fraud that after I did the soundtrack for Pitfall 3D, Activision made the corporate decision to hire me again to do Asteroids reboot in 2000. And that was so, you know, such a great decision because I was so bad. Actually, all jokes aside, it got very bad reviews, the music. It got very... Why don't you find those, by the way? Why don't you dig those up and then use that as evidence of what a fraud I am, you know? Anyway, they went on to hire me for X-Men Mutant Academy. Oh, and then the vice president of Marvel Studios at the time of Captain America personally called me to do Captain America Sentinel of Liberty. Why? because he worked with me on X-Men when he was at Activision, and called me many years later, 8, 9 years later, to do, or maybe it was 10 years later. Do you understand the vice president of Marvel Studios? And there have been several, I won't mention which one, but, you know, because I don't want to publicly put anybody's name out there for any reason. Okay. All right. But let's go on. Yes, I'm a fraud. It's obvious. Oh, God. So, yes, Jasmine, correct question. What is the last game that he composed for? Yes, I would love to know. Did he graduate magna cum laude from one of the most prestigious music schools in the world? No. And it's, you know what? It's a very weak argument, and I can admit it. The position of authority argument, it's a horrible argument. It's one of the worst you can make, actually.
It's a logical fallacy.
Exactly. It doesn't mean shit. But my point is this. Here's the point. You cannot graduate from that school unless you can do all 7 church modes, all varieties of minor scale and major scale in all 12 keys. If you can't do that on the piano, you literally can't graduate, right? If you cannot write 4-part counterpoint, specifically in the style of J.S. Bach, you can't graduate. Can't do a 3-part fugue, you can't graduate. 2-part invention and a 1-part partita, you cannot graduate. So how many of those did you write exactly? I'd love to know, you know? So yeah, it's a weak argument, but I'm using it on top of all the other stuff.
Right.
That's my little cherry on top, you know? Oh God, I can't believe this, you guys. All right, everyone and Mr. Logan, have a great day. You too. Okay, take care. Let's see here. David, your years of experience and being in the industry, plus your teacher, qualifies you more than anyone to educate you about music. Jasmine, I appreciate you saying that, but I have to be clear. This is not a music education channel. It's really not. You know, there have been a fair amount of you who are curious, like, you know, about, oh, right. He says, I only write in C and G because I'm so limited. I forgot the composer. I'll have to look this up. Oh my God. One of the great composers of the American Songbook only composed in the key of A flat because that's all he knew. And he had a player piano that would tune to every key. So whatever the singer wanted, he would play only in one key, right? Huh. And then the player piano is special retrofitted. So, you know, Beethoven preferred C. He loved C minor, specifically C minor. Yeah.
Hans Zimmer will not write
He won't go anywhere out of D. He's a D. Give me the D.
Yeah.
And do you want to know why? You probably don't even know why. This is the amazing thing.
Yeah.
It's about timbre.
The last one.
It's about timbre. That different instruments and their tuning have different timbre. The reason I love C, desperately in love with C, is because I was classically trained as a timpanist. I played timpani in the orchestra. Guess what? The most beautiful, resonant, and powerful note you can play. Technically, actually, you can go down, you can stretch it down below the C, but it's that C. And I recorded my own timpani sample library. Okay. Not a lot of things many composers can say. And I spent a bit of time on that low C specifically so that I could use it in my music. Are you getting it now? Oh my God. It's so incredible, these arguments that this person is making. I mean, you know what I genuinely hope happens? I hope he watches this whole thing, really carefully listens to what I've had to say, and then says, you know what? I didn't realize that, David. And I learned a lot of things and you cleared up a lot for me. I don't think you're a fraud anymore. Could I come on your stream and crack open a beer and we can just, be friends? Because many great friendships begin, you know, in nefarious ways. And anyway, it is what it is, guys. I mean, it's, you know. David needed that laugh. I know, right? Like, whoa. I did need that laugh. It was a really good one, Bobby. That was a great one. I count my days. I must have the orb library before the. You know what, Spin? And by the way, you want to hear something really sad, Spin? Maybe the saddest thing. Part of the reason I'm not really going to do the project with you and Mika anymore, it's partly because of this email. Because engaging with my audience, I don't want any more trouble in my life, and you might think, oh, well, what trouble could this lead to? Well, I mean, look where we are, I mean, that's part of the reason. The other reason is I am busy and I have other things going on, and, I don't, there's more than one reason, but that was one of them, which is sad. So yeah, anyway, guys, thank you there's a lot of supportive, Jasmine, I don't know that he's a coward. I wouldn't necessarily say that, he feels, I really believe that this person feels that they are doing something important in life, exposing me as a fraud, and so I wouldn't say he's a coward. I don't think that at all. And the other thing is, he's really smart. Like, he's a incredibly smart person.
Yeah,
like
he clearly knows his shit.
He knows. Yes, he's very smart. I mean, he's really a smart guy. So I don't know that he's a coward. I wouldn't describe him as that. But maybe in the sense that, yeah.
I would say it's a cowardly act not to come to you.
Mm.
That's cowardly.
Well,
I'm not calling him a coward, but it's cowardly to just do something on the side and not come to you.
To be fair to him, I am defending him now. This is how much I care, because I'm not going to let him be seen in an unfair way. I won't do that. To be fair, after his first, very upsetting email to me, I just sent him back a message saying, please don't contact me anymore. Please don't. Because he said things that really were hurtful and, just bothered me. And I'm just like, who is this guy? Like, he doesn't sound based, So I said, please don't contact me. And this is yet another reason I would not say he's a coward. I really would not. Because I was the one who said, please don't contact me anymore. Because his messages were hurtful to me. They hurt my feelings. I am very sensitive, a very, very sensitive individual. However, let's just say he did something that I thought was incredible, like truly incredible. I really did. And by the way, I will go out and publicly, if he contacts me after this and says, wow, you know what, you're willing to say that what I did was incredible and amazing and positively brilliant, publicly and sincerely, yes, I will do that. 100%, because I really and genuinely, sincerely believe that it was great what you did. Anyway, I saw it, and I was so also just touched, and because he was such a gentleman about everything, even though there was this behind the scenes, he was sending these kind of, very unkind emails. I would describe them as unkind, and maybe hate was too strong of a word I used last week, so maybe I'll apologize. Not maybe. I apologize for using that word, because maybe it was too strong. Hate's a very strong word. But they're not kind. And, when you start talking about my girlfriend, that just you're not kind anymore. That's not kind. I think we can all agree. Anyway, if he sees this and he understands that I respect his work, which I do, and will publicly say, only with his permission though, he has to email me and say, yeah, you know what? Before we can, reconcile our differences, I need you to publicly on your stream acknowledge that my shit was great. I'll be like, you're damn right I will. I will.
Hey.
I sincerely will. Not only that, I will even do an analysis, a sub-analysis, and explain why it's brilliant. Because it is, and I sincerely mean that. And I really, really hope that the sincerity from which I speak and the love in my heart, there's a lot of it. I really hope that reaches you, man. Because beyond that, there's nothing I can do at this point. I'll just say, go ahead and do your worst. And I got very emotional before, and I lost my cool a little bit, and I apologize for that too. I still don't know the initial way I offended you, but again, if you explain it to me and break it down what I did, I will certainly consider it. And if I'm wrong, I will apologize. I'll say, I'm sorry, man. Because I got
that's one of the things we talked about, how important it is to be. So when it comes to being knowledgeable about anything, the first step is to say, I don't know.
That's correct.
Right? I don't know.
No. Sorry, can I quickly just...
Oh, yeah, sure.
I just want to correct that, because I think you're talking now about the 4 stages of knowledge, which is I don't know that I don't know is the first stage.
Right.
Then
the very first is I just don't know.
Yeah, then I know that I don't know, then I know that I know, and then I don't know that I know. So, sorry, I just wanted to correct you because it's such a great thing to talk about, but please continue, Bobby.
So in the same vein, that you don't know when you've hurt somebody, you don't know when you fucked up, and somebody comes and tells you, the most gratifying it feels so good when you genuinely say, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
100%.
That's I know you are that way. I'm that way.
I am.
So if anybody ever feels that way, come on, just come to us.
Yeah. If I hurt anybody, and if I said something factually not correct,
right?
Please do correct me.
I want to know so that the next time you don't go and say it again.
Exactly. I think that explaining the differences between black keys and white keys to a layperson, saying that the white keys are diatonic and the black keys are pentatonic, and maybe, what, it could be also that maybe I don't remember that correctly. Please clip it and send it back to me, because you want to know something? I have had situations where I said black instead of white, I said red instead of blue, I said green instead of yellow in a class, while teaching in a class. And I'll get an email from a student saying, I'm so sorry, but in the class you said green. Are you sure about that? Because at least according to my notes and what I've researched, it's actually yellow, isn't it? And then I email back and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I meant to say. I'm so sorry, I slipped. People make mistakes. I acknowledge them. It's one of the things my girlfriend loves the most about me. I don't give a shit the reason why she's hurt. Wait for it. I only care to heal her and to make her feel better. And even if I think she's not being reasonable, if I have hurt her, I apologize for it. And then quietly, I just live with it. Then when things are much more calm, or maybe 2 or 3 days later, I might inquire in a very polite and soft way. But in the moment I've hurt her, the only thing I'm interested in is making her feel better with an apology. And it's sincere, because I'm wise enough and have enough years of life to understand that even if you don't think you've done anything wrong, you still have to apologize to the person if you love and care about them. Now, with this individual, he seems to think I owe him an apology, but I don't care about him at all. I don't. Well, because I don't know him.
You don't know him.
I don't know him from a hole in the wall.
So you can't care about somebody that you just fundamentally don't know.
So I'm not willing to.
Why they have a problem with you?
Right. I'm not willing to apologize and bend a knee unless there's really damning evidence that I really did something insulting. And if that evidence is presented, I will apologize publicly right here on my stream, or stream of your choice. Invite me. I will publicly apologize to your face. I really mean that, man. But you have to explain why. You haven't really, and maybe it was somewhere buried in your emails and it's just they're too upsetting for me to read. And I have a right to protect myself, by the way. So maybe it'll never go that way. So if you want, you can contact Bobby at Orb Soundworks, Bobby with 2 B's. Explain it to him. Explain everything. Send all the emails to him. And then he can very rationally, as a third party, probably biased in my favor, obviously. Yeah. But because we care about each other, So, but he'll read it and he'll say, here's what I think has gone on. Here's what I think he wants an apology for. And then I'll just straight ask Bobby, like, do I owe him an apology? And if Bobby makes this face, like, I'll know. If Bobby makes this face, I'll know. He won't need to say anything. But the point is, if he says to me, well, you know, it could go either way, I'll apologize. I will, if it's neutral, I'll apologize. If Bobby says it could go either way, I will apologize sincerely, because the last thing on earth that I ever want to do to anybody is hurt them, especially knowingly hurting somebody. It's the worst. And now that I have this knowledge, anyway, I don't know. It's so depressing. Like it really upsets me. All right. Anyway, let's go on. Getting back into the comments. So yes, eventually, Spin, I am saying it live on this stream. Eventually, you will get a copy of the Orb Sound. I never said the Orb. I said the Pac-Man World 2 library, not the Orb Soundworks. The Orb Soundworks library is only going to Emanuele and Bobby. And I still never actually, because it's not really done yet, but I'm still working on it. But eventually, I'm going to give them a copy. And it must be protected throughout time. Now, if there's no one to take over Orb once Bobby and Emanuele, you know, are getting old age, and, you know, and it seems like Orb is just going to close its doors, sure, I'll leave provisions in my will that we can release it publicly, in fact, and that anybody that wants it. That's not, listen, I'm going to be like John Williams on this one. I'm going to be wheelchaired out at 95 years old, holding on to it. So, you know, okay, we'll see who goes first. There you heard it there, Spin. It's now Bobby's, under his control. So, you know, and Emanuele is like 10 years younger than Bobby. So, you know, it's, yeah. Anyway, look, you know what? This is not the first time someone has attempted to destroy my reputation. You know, some people really like me as a person. Other people hate me. Truly, you know, because I say the truth and I speak my mind, and I'm not afraid to speak the truth. I'm not afraid to be, you know, unliked. I mean, it's fine. You know, if you want to go out and, you know, pump an algorithm and take out ads and, you know, with my face on it and, you know, fraud, enemy of music, enemy number one of music theory, go for it, man. Knock yourself out. I'll even like endorse your advertisements. Actually, you know what? I will. If you do a hit job and you make a video and you name me by name, I'll promote it to all my students. I will. Like I'm not even joking. Please send me the link, because I will promote it to my students and tell them to watch it. And I will
if there's legitimate, knowledgeable,
I want to know
information in
that's it. The thing. I want to know. I will show it. So go for it, man. And I will show it to them and I'll ask them for their feedback. And I can pretty much guarantee you every single one of them is going to say this is BS. You know, I have pages of my comments, and I challenge you in your hit piece on, what is it? Fraudulent music educators or something. I would challenge you to include what people have to say. And so, like you insulted my girlfriend, you know, you could just dismiss everything these students are saying about me. Go for it, man. You know, you've gone this far, may as well go all the way. I'm happy to, you know, quit my teaching position if anything that you have to say about me is actually true, factually true. If it is, I will voluntarily step down, in a similar way that I kind of don't really want to stream anymore. Because after last week's stream, I get toxic email describing this whole situation and talking about your big expose on what a fraud I am. Not worth it, man. It's not worth it. And you know what? I would invite everybody like Nick and Jasmine and Spin and Mika and Miles and Playboy and Satoshi. I would invite all of you guys. We would just do a private weekly call on Zoom. You know what I mean? And just hang out, man, you know? Because it's a pleasure to spend my time with you guys. It really is a pleasure. But I don't want to receive these emails.
Jeez.
I don't want to receive them. I just don't. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to be hurt by anyone. It's not worth it to me. And you know what, guys? Listen, there is a probability, depending on what happens after this stream, there's a probability this could be our last stream. It could be, really, because it's not worth it to me, guys. I'm a very fragile individual, and it's just not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Bobby might have something to say about that.
I just don't, I think
Miles,
I'd
thank
like to
you.
end on a...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Miles just say, honestly, I probably wouldn't be here where I am today if it wasn't for you. Bobby, this is beautiful what Miles just said. Thank you. Thank you for saying that live on the stream, Right. Sorry, I just had... Now, go ahead, by the way. I was just reading on the side.
Shoot, I lost my train of thought.
I'm so sorry. I was thinking about the last stream.
No, that's fine. I just think that... Well, I don't know what I was going to say. Something about streaming. Something about staying here. I don't think anybody has the right to bring anybody down.
But that's not what it is. But go on. Sorry. Go on.
Well, I just think, it sucks. It sucks because we're here trying to give something back. And to have somebody attack that sucks.
It does.
Sucks.
Straight up. It's just not good.
So, and it takes the fun out of it. And it really,
And like I said, depending on what happens during the week, this could be the last stream because, and this person will probably feel like they won. We shut down his stream,
Whoop-de-doo.
No, you lost. The community lost. People like Miles are the ones who lose, because for me, it's not worth it. As much as I love sharing and helping, and I'd rather do it privately and just maybe do a private Discord call, or something like that. We can do a weekly Discord or something like that. Or, we move this stream, we move it over to the Discord, and, kind of like how Mika and Spin, the three of us have kind of, been friendlier and hung out a little bit on Discord and chatted and stuff like that over a common love of the music of Pac-Man World 2. And for them, I think it's a wonderful experience to have exposure to me. There's a wonderful, when we discovered which piano I finally used on Pac-Man World 2, I think, Spin, you posted it, right? You said, I am very happy to announce that we have finally found the identity of the Pac-Man World 2 favored piano. And that just made my heart melt. What Miles...
Because that means something to Spin, and that's why we're here.
Yes, that is why we're here. And so I know that, you might think, well, be strong, David. Who cares what the haters think? It's that it distresses me. It hurts and it distresses. And when I get these emails and I read a few sentences and I get this little pit in my stomach, that feeling?
Right.
Do you know that, I mean, it's probably AI, but it's, Bruce Lee saying, never say anything negative about yourself, even if you're joking, because emotionally your mind and your body connection doesn't know the difference. So it's the same thing. Even though I factually know that none of what this person wrote is true, it still emotionally hurts me. It tears a hole through my heart. Right, Bobby? So the point is, it's not worth it to do this stream if it means that people are going to lash out and hurt me. And this person is doing this all from my stream. And they discovered me through the stream. So that's the thing. Everybody loses. And the game community. And, it's not about the size of this stream. It's about the quality of the people. We got Satoshi the Yoshi. I mean, can't get a better name than that.
I think it's
Soshi the Yoshi.
Soshi the Yoshi.
You know what? I got Bitcoin on my mind, so
right.
So I called you Satoshi because I'm thinking about Bitcoin. So I just sort of saw the SOSHI, and I'm like, Satoshi. Satoshi is a
yeah.
so we know who
quick glance.
Satoshi Nakamoto is. It's actually Yoshi from Mario. That's
There you go.
cool, right? That would be
There you go.
awesome. So Nick says accountability. I just remembered that's what you discussed. I think, yes, I've
Right. Being
always,
accountable, being that person.
I have always stressed this to my students. Accountability is number one, especially that I teach in Italy, because there is two words in Italian, affabilità and responsabilità. Obviously, responsible. Affabilità means dependable. There is no one-to-one direct connection or correlation to accountable. It doesn't exist in Italian. They don't have the word. So they literally don't understand it. So I explain the difference between responsible and accountable. So, and the way I do it, it's so simple. And this will help anybody wondering what is accountability. And I say, okay, so if I feel sick, I call the school and I say, I feel sick, I have to cancel my class. Now the school is accountable to inform all of you. And I acted responsibly, but I am not accountable to you because the school does not provide me with your email and phone number. I have no way of doing it. Now, if I did have all of your personal phone numbers and personal emails, at that point, I would be accountable. It would be my responsibility, and I would be held to account if I did not inform you I have to cancel class because I don't feel well. So I always stress it, and my students are always like, oh, wow, like that makes a lot of sense. Now I understand the difference between responsible and accountable, right? So anyway, I'm glad you remembered that about accountability because, yeah, I am a person that holds myself to account, and especially if I've done something wrong and it can be shown to me in a clear way, even if I might not understand it, if it's plausibly true, I take accountability, and I will do that with this person who knows who they are. I don't think they're bad. I really don't. I don't think they're a bad person. I want to say that publicly. I don't think they're a bad person. I was maybe too emotional, and maybe hate was the wrong word, which I'm apologizing for publicly more than one time on the stream. I apologize. I don't think they're bad. I really believe that they think they are doing something important and worthy. And, if after everything I've done on this stream, sincerely done on this stream, doesn't reach this person, then
What else can you do?
There's nothing I can do. That's what we're all boiling down to. True. Hell yeah, David and I are blunt buddies. No filter, no restraint. You know it, man. Listen, you guys, I care about all of you. I've gotten to know if any of you reached out. Actually, one of you, again, I protect people's names. I'm very, very careful on a public stream, but someone who regularly comes to the stream, on their handle on another social platform that I'm connected to them on, it said, current mood, like absolutely depressed, or like it was really dark. And I just, and it was like a call for help, man. And I just reached out and I'm like, hey man, do you want to talk? And we talked and I was thanked, thank you. I feel better.
Right.
Any of you can reach out to me on Discord and request a private call, and I will talk to you. I will talk to you. I genuinely care about people. I especially care about people in the gaming community because I do believe we are mostly disenfranchised as a group. I know gaming is mainstream now, but especially growing up, like you were so not cool if you were into like Radio Shack, and you guys probably don't even know what that is anymore. But like, tinkering with like motherboards and computers and, trying to save up enough money to buy a Commodore 64, which I was never able to do. You were considered really,
cool.
Like outside of mainstream. So public music enemy number one, David Logan, on a cartoony wanted poster is so outlandishly, oops, the word got cut off. Funny. Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Hey,
Oh, can I,
I'm gonna
can I,
stop you right there. I'm
yeah.
gonna send you a link. You can decide if you want to
Oh,
put it
no,
on
no,
the
no. Well,
stream.
hear me out. Nick, I am begging you, Nick, really, please. Here, I'm going to look in the camera. Nice.
Take a look at
Wait, I'm going to do wanted,
your
like David Logan
I'm
wanted.
telling
Ready?
you. Take a look at your WhatsApp.
Okay, take a look at my WhatsApp. Okay, I'm being told to look at my WhatsApp. I don't see anything on the WhatsApp.
No?
Did you send something? Okay, but
Oh, this is my iPad. It's in your messages, your Apple
okay.
message.
All right. Well,
Sorry.
all right, I'll quickly go there. We got to see this, right? I mean, but what I was going to say, Nick, I just made a pose of somewhat guilty face. So now I want you to take that and go use AI and make the poster. And you know what? Maybe instead of ending our stream like the purpose.
Take a look at your WhatsApp, man, or your
Okay, sorry.
messages.
I'm being told that I should. Oh my. Oh my
You can share it if you
God.
want.
Okay, did you just do this?
Yeah, I did like 5-10 minutes
Oh
ago.
my, Bobby is a freaking genius. Are you guys ready for this? I don't think you can handle this. All right, here we go. There. Oh my God, I was going to tell Nick to do that. No, you should change it. Instead of $1 million, you should say, make some fake symbol that is somewhat musical and then have an asterisk and say 1 million notes on a 10 key piano. Oh, this is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. But I look like an evil villain. I think my pose is better where I just look guilty. This looks like I'm trying to, take over the world and, force, incorrect theory on the masses. But this is great, Bobby. I think it's fantastic. Not bad for 2 minutes, but
Right.
maybe we'll do like a new contest instead of the filter contest. We'll do like who can make the best wanted poster. So you want to know something? This is another message for him and anybody else who does not like me or appreciate me. I'm not laughing at you. I am laughing with the situation. And there's a massive difference because when people are hurt, when someone has been hurt by another person, the only way, and I really mean the only way they can heal is through laughter. That's the only way they heal is with laughter. That literally, I've never laughed so hard, man. And it's, again, I am not laughing at you. I sincerely want you to know that. I'm laughing because the whole situation hurts me. And if that's your goal, well, bravo, you've achieved it, man. You've done really well. Really well. Because I'm even thinking of shutting down the stream. So, Jasmine says that's amazing, Bobby. That's a t-shirt. All right, please do. Nick, please try to make a better one. Please. I want there to be a better one because I look like an evil overlord, which, you want to know? Okay, I'll tell you another thing about me. I don't want to have control over anyone. Power and control, not interested, man. It's just not my thing. I want to collectively, with respect, dignity, and honor, work with people. And I always describe people in 2 categories in life. Those that work with you and those that work against you. So to this person, very sincerely, I request that you stop working against me. Stop trying to hurt me. And maybe that's not your intention, but that's the outcome. So I'd ask you to stop what you're doing and let's make peace. Genuine. I'm a second olive branch and I'm doing it live on stream. You rejected my first one and called me fake and disingenuous and all these other horrible words, which upset me and hurt me because it was sincere. And I know that's why I'm doing it live on the stream, because there's no tone in emails. So very often we interpret it especially if we view someone negatively, we see all the words as being negative, right? So you probably heard, I'm extending you an olive branch, you know. And I assure you, again, we're laughing because I have to deal with the emotional sadness, you know, of your response. I meant it in the following way. I am again offering to you a very sincere olive branch. I really hope you take it. And because this person, I have offered, and the funny thing is, with my first olive branch, I actually offered to help them on another project that they're doing. The offer still stands. I'm hoping that you and I can help each other and be lifelong collaborators, because I respect your work, and I will say it publicly. And if you can explain to me how I, you know, hurt you or upset you, or, you know, what you want me to apologize for, I will really listen. I will listen. And if I have done wrong, I will apologize, because I don't want this, man. I don't want this. It's so not worth it doing this stream. I would so much rather just sit there and look at my cat and pet her and stroke her, and then do the same thing to my MKS 80. Sorry, Bobby. I'm still laughing at your, you know, I'm being very sincere, man. It doesn't get more sincere than this, you know. Right. You know, I have a button, which I have to switch for you to see, but this is a button I always press when, you know, encouraging my students to be authentic. I think that we live in a world where there is so little of authenticity, and I assure you, I am being authentic. I only want to love and get along with everybody in my community, you know, meaning you guys, all of you. I don't want, you're part of my community. We are part of the same community, man. Please, can we work this out? I really, really want to, very sincerely. And yes, maybe we can start with a private call. And I think I suggested that in one of my emails. I said, why don't we just hop on a Zoom call so we can, because I felt like right? The text messages were not, you know, landing, so to speak. So anyway, so wonderful. Yeah. So, thank you guys for making stuff. And oh my God, I remember Radio Shack before they closed.
Radio Shack was the best.
Yes. Oh, this is a very,
all the time.
Nick, sorry. I just want to, I'm catching up on the chat. David respects NDAs even when they're not official. That's damn right. And even 30-year-old NDAs that no one at Sony or Microsoft or Namco or Activision, all of which I have NDAs signed, none of them would ever be like, oh, he disclosed something from there. But I still say, you know what, I don't know if I want to talk about that because it would violate an NDA. You're damn right, Nick, because I do have honor and I respect this person's work, and I don't want to say anything that would hurt him. That's the truth. I really don't. So please, man, please reach out to me. Please, can we just put this behind us, man? Like, I love coming here and hanging out with all these people, but the harassment is not worth it to me, man. Again, I'd rather just, you know, you don't know how fragile I am and how hurtful it is, the things that you said to me. You know, are you willing to apologize for the way that you hurt me and upset my girlfriend, by the way? You hurt her feelings. You hurt her feelings, you know? And you know what it is she felt humiliated, publicly humiliated, you know, by the insinuation that you've made, you know? So yeah, I mean, it wasn't, sorry, that's wrong. What I'm trying to say is when she heard that, she felt humiliated, not publicly. It was said in private. And again, like, I have to correct the record. It was a private thing, but she still felt insulted, you know? Oh, what? I'm so poor. I can't take care of myself. Oh, I would be in I want abuse in a relationship. Like, who does this guy think I am? Fair question. Right. Fair question. Anyway.
So David,
Yeah.
I gotta.
Yeah, it's
I
that
think this is
time.
a good time to wrap it up. I gotta go put some chains on my car
Okay.
because the road is snowed and it's
Chains on
crazy.
the car. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
All right, guys, listen,
Oh, well, on the tires.
yeah, we're gonna sign off for Bobby, but I'm just gonna stay and quickly catch up on some of the chat, and then I'll round off
Okay,
by myself. But Bobby, thank you for your friendship
of
and
course,
your support and being a great partner.
of
Thank
course.
you.
All right.
All right, man.
Take care, all.
And say
See you guys on
goodbye
the
to
next one.
Sheila.
I will.
Say
I
goodbye.
will.
All right, take care.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
So for the rest of you, yeah, like I said, let's. I'm gonna get kind of caught up here on the chat. Yeah, you know what? I am sorry about. I'm not as good with the chat because for me, like I want to stay engaged, kind of in the moment. And so, to kind of go back and forth, it's hard. And I do apologize for that because, yeah, anyway, here we are. Also that Friday afternoon, I will have to prioritize my job. Yeah, no problem, Nick. You're always with us, man. I've really grown to care about you guys. You're a good bunch of guys. You all are guys collectively, meaning men and women. I think Jasmine is female. I don't know. All I know is my girlfriend is very jealous of Jasmine. She said your hair looks nice. But my girlfriend is not really jealous. It's all said in good fun, by the way, in good fun. Good spirits, I think this is really important. And my sincerity on my stream tonight about this person who is trying to, expose me as a fraud. Everything I'm saying, I assure you, is very, very, very sincere. And, you can be the judge of that. And I hope you judge me correctly. And I hope that you reach out and I hope we can talk, like just with gentle tones and no accusations. And I will really listen to you on 2 counts. I will listen to you in terms of what I did to hurt your feelings or, make you angry or, the thing I did against you that you think I have to apologize for. And by the way, the reason I've chose to stay on after Bobby signed off is I've said this many times on my stream. You a little bit, you play a character on a stream because you have to be, funny and entertaining and everything. And, when you have a, great partner like Bobby, we enjoy our company and our time. But I'm solo now, so it does not get more sincere than how I'm being right now. Okay? I very sincerely hope that you and I can arrange for a call, and like a Zoom call, a video call, so you can really see my face. And I will really listen to you. I mean, you could also put it, in a itemized email, but please don't use hurtful language. And it's hurtful, man. There's no other way. I mean, it hurts me for, a small amount of time. And then I immediately get over it and I say, like, who you are, David. But it's this idea of what, Bruce Lee said, that your body and your brain, like, they don't know the difference. They read the words on the page and then I feel that way. And so for those 10 minutes that I really feel sad and hurt by your words, they're not good. It's not worth it. The trade-off is not worth it. And so, yeah, I mean, if you were to formally say, yeah, please, David Logan, please never stream again, I would consider it. I wouldn't do it, but I would certainly, if you told me like I'm now, in a legal proceeding against Twitch and YouTube to formally have your channels removed, I'll save you the lawyer's fees, man. Like if that's really what's going on, and I'll just take them down myself, because it's not that, oh yeah. And then, the thing about my album, that I waited 25 years, I waited 25 years because I am a coward and I am insecure. And I was too afraid that the world would laugh at my music. And that's why I didn't do it. And the only reason I released my album? because my girlfriend practically begged. She didn't beg, but she just said, please, if nothing else, just put it out so that you can say you did a solo album. And I did it for her. I didn't do it, and she said, try to promote it, make a link tree. Maybe the people on your stream will, So yes, but I, on a few streams I did, but I don't do it anymore. I don't think I asked anybody recently. Maybe, casually or signing off or, So I'm being as sincere as I know how to be, man. Really. Please stop hurting me. Please, I'm asking you really nicely. It hurts. It really hurts me. Okay? And I'm just asking you, please stop. Please, let's make peace with each other. No? They say love is better than war, right? I don't want to be at war here. I refuse to fight, actually. I won't fight. I will give up very quickly and fold. If you tell me I've hired a lawyer and we're suing YouTube and we're suing Twitch to bring down your channel because you're telling people there's only 10 notes on a piano or 10 keys on a piano, then, yeah, I'll just pack it in, man. It's not that important to me, really. What's important to me is that I've got a close group of really, really, really close group of people in my life that really care about me and will really support me, and they mean the world to me. Nothing I do in my public life, including teaching, by the way, is more important than that group of people. So, and you know what? Here's the amazing thing I'll say to this person. I could be one of those people in your life if you let me. And I mean that, again, really sincerely. I would, you don't know how many people I've helped, man. I read you some of the highlights, but man, I could, maybe I will. Maybe I'll literally just read out a bunch of them. I don't need to, but whatever. I've spent too much time on this already. Anyway, going through the chat. Yes, take care, Nick, and good luck at work, and don't hurt yourself or anything. What work do you do, Nick? I'm just, if I can ask, I don't know the work you do. That was a public release of the Giga piano, since literally no one else ever did so. Okay, well, yeah, and spin. Most people don't even know what the Giga piano is or how important it was at the time, right? Because Giga Sampler, it was called first, and then became Giga Studio, revolutionized the industry, right? It was the first software sampler. Although, I think Reason had been released. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But because technically Reason, what was it? The NN19 sampler, I believe. Don't quote me on that either. But anyway, the point is, it was one of the first and biggest platform, kind of like how Contact is today. That's what Giga Studio became for the industry. And they advertised their whole system as, a 1 gigabyte piano sample. And you have to understand that back then, the average sampler had 32 megabytes of RAM. Right. And that's all you had. And then, when I got, you can see down there, that's the S6000 and my beloved K2500. That held 128 megabytes of RAM. That had 256 megabytes. Notice the over enunciation of mega, because you're like, 128 gigabytes of RAM. That's good. Why is he saying it's bad? No, mega, 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 mega. So the idea that there was a 1 gigabyte sample, everybody lost their mind, and everybody overnight, Giga Sampler just became the must-have. I'm a Mac guy, been a Mac guy my entire whole life. I've never done anything other than a Mac, not because I think Macs are better than PCs. It's literally just they're the most stable that I have encountered, and I don't think you can find anything more stable than Logic as a DAW, because the same company making the DAW makes the motherboard, the RAM, the CPU, the operating system it's running on. So it's just stability. That's the only reason. I don't really care particularly about this Mac PC war that is always going on. It seems so silly to me. Best computer in the world is the one that helps you get your work done. I say all that to point out that I never in a million years had any reason to buy PC until Giga Studio. Then all of a sudden, boom, there. And there was a cottage industry that even sprung up around Giga Studio where people would take, I guess it was Windows XP at the time, and they would strip it. So no Internet Explorer, no Word, or literally nothing. Just all that was needed to run Giga Sampler. And then it was just became like a hardware sampler, and it just stayed in your rack. And you didn't even interface with it. You would load up your samples, and a lot of people, maybe had a little. Actually, I had in my studio just a little monitor that would, interface with Giga Studio, like a little 15-inch monitor. And actually, I can even show you a picture because why not? Let's stroll down memory lane. Actually, you know what's funny? I was actually, when I was gathering all the Pac-Man World 2 photos, I stumbled across a whole bunch of studio pictures of my studio through the years, and I thought that might be fun to look at. And where on earth would that be? Oh, right, with all the other Pac-Man stuff. So let's see here, going back, and I'll tell you something else kind of funny. Well, I don't know if it's even funny, but I can't multitask. It's just not possible. Studios, there we go. All right, here we are, finally. So yeah, this is my studio 2 years, exactly 2 years after Pac-Man World 2. So you can see this front plate right here. That is the front plate to, you can see it on the front here. It's not turned on right now. I mean, I could, but that black screen right there is this little screen right here that you see. So it had a detachable faceplate. In fact, if you look at the samplers over here, you can see 1, 2, and the third one has no front plate, and that's because it's over here. So anyway, there's the EMU samplers, the ESI 2000, the K2500, the XV5080, the 3080 is over here somewhere. I think that's the MKS70. I don't even know. I don't even see the 3080. I mean, I still have it, so it's got to be in here somewhere. There's one of the MKS80s right there. You can see the MKS80, my beloved. Oh, that's the 70 right there. Yes. So this, maybe that's the, what is it? Ah, that's the black MKS80, right? MKS7, excuse me. I had both a black and white face MKS7. That's the white face right there. In other words, the faceplate on the front panel is white. Very rare, in fact. The black ones are much more common, but so that's what that is. I was like, what the hell is that? I don't even know what that is. Anyway, there's the JP8080, which of course you can see right there is behind me, and it's powered on right now. And actually the MKS80 is powered off right now. But anyway, so anyway, this little 15-inch monitor here, and it doesn't look very, did I say big or small? Small monitor. It doesn't look very small. It only looks big compared to this 22-inch cinema display. That's the 17-inch cinema display. So these were 15 inches. So that was the monitor for this recording console over here. And this, you can kind of barely make it out, is the Windows desktop. And that was my Giga Sampler. And the Giga Sampler lived in here. You see this rack over here? So that's where the Giga Sampler lived. That was the CPU of my Windows machine. And this was the CPU that ran this digital recording console. And there, of course, is the H3000, one of my favorites. And my PCM 80s, and my Drummer 1960 compressor, all of which are still right here in the rack and will never be sold. Yeah, fun stuff, fun times. Yeah, so, and the virus is right on my desktop right here. This guy right here. Is it even, I can power that on. I love this thing. This thing is amazing. I'll never sell it. Even though I have a perfect faithful plugin recreation, this controls the entire plugin as if it was itself. It's amazing. It's incredible what those guys did. Anyway, yeah, there's the virus and MIDI interfaces and whatnot. That's a TR-909 drum machine, and that is a JD 800, I believe is what it is. Let's see some other photos of back in the day. Here we go. This shows a little bit better. Yeah, there you can see the JD 800 now, MKS 80 a little better. There's the TR-909. There's the white face. There it is, right there. That's the white face MKS 7, and that's the black face. Same synth, different chassis, and one of them had slightly different sounds. So anyway, this is a better photo, I think, better than the other one. And these Mo effects are amazing. I have these as well. I'll always keep these. It's super cool. Anyway, well, I guess let's just finish up in the chat. And let me just move this out of the way. Where are we here? Let me just go back to the chat. Sorry, I was away from the chat there for a minute. Anything else? I'm so glad you said that. I never understood the PC war. In the end, it's all about preference. Miles, 100% correct you are, sir. It's just about your personal preference. If the PC makes you do more creative work, then that's the best computer in the world. You know, like for me, it's a Mac, you know. Yeah, and the whole Android versus like iPhone, it's like, you know, it doesn't matter, man. I prefer the iPhone because it's part of the ecosystem that I chose, you know. And it's the one that, you know, in education, my father was a physics professor. And he came home with the very first Macintosh. I'll never forget it for my whole life. It was like, literally, it was like seeing a UFO landing. You know, like everything was analog. And, you know, the Apple II, you know, we tinkered with them around, you know, in school as little toys, basically. But, you know, when the Macintosh happened, it was like watching a UFO landing. It's the only way I can, you know, that I can describe it. So, yes, whatever helps you be creative is the best machine. Like some people make music on an Android tablet, you know, wonderful. The DAW wars also are, I never understood this, man. Oh, Ableton is better than Logic. It's like, for you it is, sure, you know. I mean, it's just like saying that, you know, pickles taste better than bananas. It's like, well, but okay, wonderful. That's your preference. But, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter, man. Because, guys, like, none of this equipment makes music by itself. Nothing. The only way, oh gosh, I'm just sorry. I just thought we could add on top as a cherry, you know, my nominations and awards and degrees in music, but whatever. I just noticed them now. I swear to God, I was not. I just looked at them now and I'm like, oh, there's also that stuff on the wall that goes even higher up there. Anyway. But yeah, like none of this stuff makes any music by itself. I have to press buttons. I have to move sliders. I have to load libraries and then use my intellect and creativity and artistry to make music, right? So why does that matter if it's on a Mac or a PC? Who cares? Who cares? Nobody cares. You know, wait, I take that back. You know who cares? People who don't do very much. People who don't probably create very much. I always joke around that the people who can hear the difference between 44.1 kilohertz and 48 kilohertz, if you can hear the difference, you don't actually make anything. You're a physicist in a lab looking at oscilloscopes because that's the only way you can know. There's no other way of knowing. Anyway, Dalek, what's going on? Well, a lot is going on, Dalek. You'll have to catch most of the replay because I don't care to repeat the emotional roller coaster I've just been on. Don't worry, we're slow right now. I have time to check in on streams. Thank you, Nick. It's great having you here. Guys, I really do care. And I really appreciate all of you and how kind you all are and nice, you know. And that's why if this person decides, yes, we're going to sue you for malpractice of music theory or whatever their accusations are, I'll just shut it down, man. It's not worth it. So not worth it. As much as I do, in fact, care, and I care a lot, I care more about my own health. You know? I really do. Yeah, Dalek, it's all good, man. Like, there's just, unfortunately, there are some people, you know, that maybe they misunderstand things because I don't have a mean bone in my body, man. I don't want to hurt anybody. Not a single person. I don't want to hurt anyone, and I never would intentionally do so. And unfortunately, there are some people who are apparently planning some expose on fraudulent music educators, you know. You know, all right, man, go for it, you know. I'm caught. I'm a fraud. Oh, you know what? I got another story about this. Really good one. Really good one. You guys must know the composer Ennio Morricone, yes? Well, the music school he went to is the Santa Cecilia Conservatory. And it's been around since the Renaissance, since the 1500s. You understand, 500-year-old music school. The most important music school in Europe, I would even argue. Well, they approached me and said, would I be a professor teaching the subject of game music composition? And I said, I would be honored, you know, but I think we should talk about it first, you know. So I went and I met the director of the program. Wonderful guy, so sweet and nice. And I said to him, listen, you know, I have to be very clear and honest with you. If you are looking for a music professor of music, I'm not that. I said, I can't, you know, put a full score of Wagner up on the projector and then do a full Schenkerian analysis in real time. That's just not, you know, because there are people who can do that, right? My theory level doesn't go that far. Like, no way. And I admit it, you know. And I said, if you're looking for that, then you should really not hire me. And they were like all kind of shocked. Like, he's trying to talk himself out of one of the most important jobs you can have in music in Italy. Okay. And why? Because I'm honest. I didn't want to cheat, lie, deceive, and certainly not for a job as, you know, teaching game composition to the students of Santa Cecilia, you know. So I thought it's very important that I be transparent about my level of knowledge, you know. And they looked at my credentials and they were just like, Berkeley grad with honors. You know, I even won 2 awards at Berkeley, 2 Berkeley awards, you know. Anyway, whatever. It's not even the point. But the point is, I said to them, I said, you know, you should not hire me if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for somebody, and at that time I had 25 years experience, who has 25 years of experience, AAA video game titles of arguably the most recognizable video game characters of all time, Pac-Man, X-Men, you know, well, X-Men is comics, but, you know, you get the point. Big franchises. Then you can hire me. Asteroids, you know, again, it's not, it's not a character, but it's one of the biggest franchises in all of gaming. I said, then you can hire me, you know, or you may want to hire me. I think I phrased it very politely. So, you know, I was completely honest with them because I also don't want to embarrass myself. Like, you know, like, well, in the first week you have to do a Schenkerian analysis of, you know, the ring cycle of Wagner, you know, or I'd just be like, nope. In fact, like if my school gave me like, I don't know, like the Aaron Marks game audio book and said, this is our new textbook, you know, it's mandated by the European Union. everybody who does game composition or game audio has to use this as a textbook, I just resign. I just be like, yeah, no, thank you so much for the wonderful years I've had here. And at San Luis, they've been wonderful. They're so nice to me. They're very kind and they're good people. And I've been so happy there, I don't teach at Santa Cecilia anymore, I think that my sort of ways just didn't jive, it didn't work out, and because I think I am too informal and I do things my own way. I always have. And I don't follow a specific guide or pattern. And I think the other thing was because, I think 4 or 5 years I taught there. And then we parted ways, and I think it happened because I think they wanted more of a technical person. And that was another thing I was very honest about, that I hire people to manage technology for me. I used to do all the technology stuff myself. And then at a certain point, all I was doing was learning game audio engines and I wasn't composing. So I started paying people to do it for me and created this collective, Orb Soundworks, where I have a group of people and they don't work for me anymore, but we all work together as a unit. But prior to that, when my company was called David Logan Music, yeah, they were working for me. But I rebranded about 15 years ago. I rebranded from David Logan Music to Orb Soundworks, So let's see, accountability, you knew it wasn't in your reach and humbly declined. Well, I don't know. It's not my wheelhouse, I suppose, in my wheelhouse to teach from a book because I teach with my heart, with my soul, I help people come to understandings and, I deliver a lot of care, and to me, the idea of just reciting and regurgitating somebody else's ideas, why would I do that? That seems like the most pointless exercise that anyone can do. Well, I take that back. Let me take that back. I'm walking that one back immediately. Pointless for me. It's pointless for me because I understand its point. If you want to learn, like the basics of music theory, yeah, you got to teach it from a book, right? First, you got to learn the primary triads. That's where it all begins. And, your dominant, subdominant, tonic, if you do them in order, your tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediate, and leading tone, that you begin there, right? And so what is a note? You start there, right? Something that defines length and pitch, right? So anyway, I understand the place for that in the world. It's just not for me. I want to teach people who already know all that stuff, which is why, by the way, I teach master's level, like I'm teaching in the master's program. Same thing in Santa Cecilia. I was teaching master's level students. So people who already know the basics of music theory, right? So, I can talk about minor, major, 7 chords, add 9, and they immediately understand what the hell am I talking about, right? I can talk about the difference between modal writing and modal interchange, and secondary dominance, and they're not going to say, what is a secondary dominant? And by the way, anyone who's listening to me right now, you don't know those things. You're not supposed to know those things, unless, you want to become eventually, like a certain level of skill in composing. And it's very important to know all those things. If you really want to go crazy in music theory, read the Lydian chromatic theory. Who was it who wrote that? I think it was George Collins who wrote that book. Let's see. It's an amazing read, but it's really, really hard to follow. I found it. It gets also pretty technical. Like the main idea behind it is pretty incredible, but anybody who's into check this out. George Russell. Did I say Collins? I think I said Collins. Anyway, George Russell. He wrote this book called the Lydian chromatic concept of tonal organization. It's pretty incredible. And his whole idea is that the center of tonality is based, in Lydian and specifically on a sharp 4, right? Anyway, whatever. It's getting way too technical. Again, this is not a music theory channel. That's just not what I'm doing here, So let's see. Let's go back here. And what happened to my chat thing here? Oh, where are we here? Let's see. Anyway, we'll wrap it up soon, guys. I think. Does anybody kind of have any last minute thoughts or feelings? Or I'm sorry if I was a little intense tonight, but I feel really strongly about this stuff. So with art schools aren't trying to teach you how to make your first painting. It's about taking those exceptional and making them reach their full potential. I agree. And in that way, that's the kind of teacher I am. I'm helping my students reach their full potential. One trend I've been noticing over the last 5 years is people stop modulating now. No more modulation. And, I always tell them modulation is what makes music interesting to listen to. It's one of the great gifts, and setting up a modulation, there are two ways. You can do direct modulation, or, you can set it up, for example, very simply with a secondary dominant, and boom, you're in a new key, But that's not exclusively, I have to be very careful what I say. That is not exclusively the purpose or use or function of secondary dominants, right? Because you can have a piece in one key and you could think of them as mini modulations. Again, I'm breaking it down, in a simplistic form. And you can stay in one key, but use secondary dominants as a more elegant way of going from one space to another space. So for example, if you take the basic jazz standard chord progression of 1 6 2 5 1, you and this is not just in jazz. This is also done in Baroque and classical and romantic music. But instead of making the 2, which is naturally a minor chord, you could make it a major chord or a 7 chord, right? And then you just temporarily are in G, but if you're in G7, you immediately go back to C. And I'm always going to explain music theory in the key of C, not because I don't know other keys. It's just the simplest for people to understand. Just so you out there, the music theory police, we'll call them. I hope we make peace, man. I hope they're watching, and I hope they feel the sincerity of my words, because they are. They really are. They truly are. Before the stream ends, I just wanted to say, I hope you feel better soon. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm always open if you are in need to talk about anything that may be troubling you. Miles, you know what? I really appreciate that, man. And you get the big hearts, man. The big hearts you're getting. I do. I mean, this is why I love the stream, and I love all you guys, and it's why I do everything with love, because love responds to love, right? Somebody said something. I missed something about somebody saying, yes. No, it was about, right. Okay. No, I read that already. No, I didn't. Sorry. Nick saying the Super Bowl summed it up here too. The only thing stronger than hate is love. Oh, this is so sad, but I don't think that's true. I really don't, man, because I think that hate is... I'll tell you what, man. I'll say it this way. I think that the only thing stronger than love is fear, maybe. And fear leads to hate, usually. I understand. Okay, so like on the surface, I agree, and it's a beautiful thing. Yes, 100%. And I agree, in principle, I agree. But once you sort of peel away the layers of humanity and you see how easy people are able to hate other people, groups of other people, how they're able to persecute groups of people, just, again, we're not going to get political here, but my best friend growing up was gay, you know, and he faced a lot of really hard stuff, man. And he was never interested in me, like, you know, intimately. We were just best friends, man. Just how it is, you know, because I'm from Toronto, nobody cares. But like, when there are groups of people that just want to love each other and get married, it's like, let them, you know, like, because you won't stop them. You can't stop love. I'll say love is unstoppable. That I can say. And you know what? There's a wonderful expression, which is the last thing to die is hope. I remain hopeful that love will always be stronger than hate. I do. I'm very hopeful of that. I just don't know how true it is, you know, and maybe it's just because the life I've lived. I don't know, you know. This is getting epic. This is one of the epic streams, isn't it? Wow. Okay. Now, I'm going to continue because I want to really go through all the comments, but I think the guidelines on Twitch say you have to have a break every now and then. And so why don't we have a little break and stretch our legs, get some water, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, I'm going to come right back. I want to finish the comment because, and by the way, Nick, thank you, man. You know, like, it means a lot to me, you know. Maybe I'll take you up on it. You never know. It's always nice to know that there's somebody in your corner. It is. It's very nice to know that. It's really interesting how life turns out, you know, and how bitter and resentful people, and I'm not referring to this person at all, by the way. This is just in general. I'm talking about people. Just how bitter and, you know, generally people are. By the way, I'm giving him a disclaimer. I'm making sure, right? Like, I don't want to hurt anyone, guys. Like, I really don't. But it's incredible what bitterness and resentment does to a person. They can spend their whole life alienating everybody around them, losing everybody important around them, and never understanding why, you know. And because they don't have the power of self-reflection, and, you know, they also have no power of apology or accepting apology. You know, it's really incredible. And you know, I am thinking of a specific person, you know, somebody that hurt me a lot in my life, and I'm not going to go into who, but just someone important to me that, you know, I've not spoken to in a very long time. Because at a certain point, you can't help people, you know, they can only help themselves, no matter how much you try, right? So anyway, all that to say, Nick, I really very sincerely and warmly appreciate this kind gesture. I do. I really do. Guys, you know why I made this and why it's the #1 icon I use? Because you know that I was not always a kind and honest person. I wasn't always sincere and kind and helpful and honest. And I used to be one of those very bitter and resentful people until I started realizing I was losing all the important people in my life. And it was my fault, all my fault. And one day that led me on a very powerful path and a journey of self-discovery and a absolute parade of apologies. I apologize to a lot of people. A lot. Anyway, let's have a little break and I will be right back and we will continue. Not for much longer, but I did want to kind of finally read the final comments. So let me just stretch my legs for a moment and I shall be right back in one moment. Where's the, oh, it's right here. Sorry. I very rarely use I should do breaks more, huh? That'd be better. All right, guys, I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. All right. I'm back. What a very emotional stream this has been. Very emotional. All right. Did I miss any of your chats? Nick was saying he works at a hair salon. That's cool. Mainly a receptionist and other but that must be interesting, right? Lots of people coming and going. I love people watching. I always love that, seeing people come and go, and I don't know, watching somebody watching themselves in a mirror, getting their hair cut. I don't know. Sounds fun to me. I missed some things here. Oh, I missed a lot. I'm so sorry. David, see you next Friday. Oh, sorry if I didn't say goodbye, Jasmine. Forget about this guy. You are here for us, not to please. That's very true, but I just want peace in my life, man. That's it. Please continue the podcast. Aww. It's pretty hard not to after that, Jasmine. I'll tell you what, if any, more of this madness continues, with this week coming up, and I do decide to just, pack it in and just forget about it, because it hurts, man. I don't want to be hurt. I really don't want to be hurt. And it hurts. It's hurtful. Reading these things, even if they're not true, still hurts me. I'm very fragile, you guys. Thanks, Bobby. We liked you too. Oh, Nick, are you talking about my album, Dreams of You? Or the album, which has that song on it? I'm so sorry. You know what? I can't even remember the name of my album. Like, I had no intention of ever releasing it. What's the name of my album again? Play with My Heart. Right. Okay. I just remembered it now. I'm like, what is it called? The original title was going to be Love is Like Breathing. Anyway, I think you're talking about that, because Dreams of You is Dreams of You is a very, very honest, very, very, it's a beautiful song, man. And I can say that as, because it's just beautiful and sincere. And my favorite line in that song, I am so in love with you, so what can I do? I can only dream of you. Like, it's just so sincere, man. It's a very sincere and sweet, and, it's a little bubblegummy candy floss kind of, but it's honest, Isn't that what we want? Honest music? Anyway. Beautiful album. I'm glad you shared with. Thank you, Miles. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. It's an honest album. There's no bullshit on that album. And, talking about some ex from my past, I think I was talking about Wine and Song. I mean, I'm sharing anecdotes. I'm explaining to people, what some of my lyrics are about and why I wrote them. Like, what? How many artists are doing that? Listen, guys, my stream is never going to blow up. My YouTube channel is never going to blow up. My album is never going to blow up, because I don't have any desire to do that. I don't take, look, the Bobby is running everything about this stream, and he's running my YouTube channel, and he runs my Instagram. He's running my X account. Like, I don't have the time, energy, or patience to do any of it. And I have no desire to be an influencer or, like a famous, like, that's like a thing now, that young people want to be famous and they want to have a YouTube channel and they want to be influencers. And, it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to be a composer. That's what I'm doing. Every day of my life, I compose professionally. That's my job. That's what I want. That's it. And I'm doing it, Anyway, anything else? If I missed anything that you really want me to answer, please tell me now, and I'll scroll down to the bottom. So it's so hard to keep up with the chat, you guys. I'm so sorry. Maybe I should stream by myself, because I get so distracted and carried away with Bobby sometimes. We have fun, though, no? Honestly, that's it, David. When you're ready to sign off, maybe even for the last time. I mean, every person has to, do what they feel is best, And if I do stop streaming, you know, I'll miss it a lot, a lot. I love stream. I do love it. I mean, I'm still here, right? So it's something I take great pleasure in. And I love sharing and I love helping. And, I grew up feeling helpless in my life, completely helpless. And so I try to be very helpful to other people, right? And I think we should all do that with each other. Be helpful, So again, to this person, I would ask, what could we do together, right? Like if I am the enemy of music theory, how together can we both, like metaphorically join hands and hearts and help other people with music theory, right? Like if I'm truly the enemy, man, what are you willing to do about it? Because I'm willing to admit where I'm wrong. And if my white key, black key controversy, like if that, please tell me where I am misunderstanding, and I will publicly apologize for everything, man. I will. Enough said. I already said it, but we should always be asking, what are we doing to help? And do you think, this I'm saying a little bit, with sadness and a little bit of anger. Do you really think anything you wrote in your email was helpful to anyone? Maybe it was helpful to you because you feel better after writing it. I don't know, man. Help me understand. Anyway, whatever. I'm saying whatever, not to this situation, but because I already talked enough and already said I would apologize if I'm wrong, and I will. Just know whatever the outcome, I absolutely had a blast and insightful time on these. Like I've had my mindset these first few years of my adult life. It has been a learning experience. Well, that's what it's all about. I hope I can share knowledge. I really hope so. I hope I can share knowledge. If I can just help one person, it's worth it. And maybe, you know what? Let's see. Maybe nothing will escalate from here. Maybe this person will reach out to me and say, yeah, you know what? And I saw the stream. I saw how sincere you were. And I really, honestly, I believed your sincerity. So yeah, let's have a Zoom call and we can, and then maybe we can even collaborate together. And I'd be really happy to do that, man. I really would, because I do respect this person and I think they're doing great work. And I think they pointed out something like I didn't mention their name or whatever about that. Yeah, because I don't ever mention people's names, but if it's a request, I'll do it. If you give me your permission, I will gladly, like I said, I'll do a counter analysis of what you did and be very supportive and mention your name. But as you did rightly point out, like, I have no followers and I'm a loser. It's so funny because like in a way I'm kind of like a one-hit wonder, with Pac-Man World 2. I'm a one-hit wonder, Nobody knows any melody from any video game I did except for Pac-Man World. So I'm a one-hit wonder. But isn't it better to be a one-hit wonder than a no-hit wonder? I think so. I would rather be a one-hit wonder than a no-hit wonder, And, I've done a stack of AAA games, but none of them became hits like Pac-Man became a hit, right? And not a very big one at that, right? So, it's not a very big one. But, yeah, like I said, I have my small little place in the world, but it's mine. It's mine. And I control it. And if I do decide to shut down the stream, it's not because you won and you beat me down. It's because I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be engaged in toxic speech, And I don't know, man. Anyway, let's see how everything goes. I really, really hope this guy will reach out and just be like, yeah, man, now I understand your email because I heard you speak and you're sincere and true, because that's how I'm saying all of this. Anyway, checking up and hoping you're doing fine. I wish you a good one. Thank you so much, Dalek. I appreciate you checking in. And the David Love, the highest. It is, Nick. I mean, you know, that's the big honor right there. You know, it's the funny thing is on the video, which is this thing over here where Bobby joins me side by side. It doesn't, just the way OBS works and the way scenes work and all this crap that I don't really understand so well. I can't actually show this and I can't show this when we're in the split screen view. It's just the way it is. Anyway, so I always get sad that I can't use this, but I hit this like 50 times and hopefully that's enough. I was unfortunately one of those people at some point too, but when I realized I wanted to strive to be a much better person, and Miles, that's what it's all about, man. It's just about making improvements. The reason I would encourage this person who wants to expose me as a fraud, that I would, you know, if they don't hear the sincerity of my words, and they decide, nah, we're going to double down and really like go after this guy. You know, like if they reveal something, because, you know, whatever they put out, I'll watch it and I'll, you know, if there's something truly, you know, that I've done wrong that warranted the hit job, as I call it, because that's what I think it is. I want to know. I literally want to know, where did I go wrong? Where did I not explain correctly the difference between white keys and black keys, you know, because I explained it in layman's terms, because most of you are not involved in theory, you know, so it's fine. Anyway, but that's what it's about. I was unfortunately one of those people at some point too. I think we all have been that person at some point, right? But we hopefully we become better people. That's what we hope we can become, no? But when I realized I wanted to strive to be, yeah, I mean, it's just so true. True words, man. And honestly, it's just nicer to make people feel nice. That's correct, Miles. Wonderful point you've made. And I've even learned more about myself and the world around me doing so. Like, man, you got it all figured out there, Miles, because that's it. I wish I knew that 20 years ago. My goodness. I really do. 30 years ago, I wish I knew this. I wish I knew. I didn't know any of this, guys. I was a fucking asshole before. And I'm very angry. I'm an angry person. I have a lot of anger in me, but I've learned to manage it and control it. And, you know, I've learned to... It's some very heavy stuff, man. My life and my past and the things I went through, and, you know, the things that forged me into the bitter person I used to be. I was very bitter. I was very angry. I was not a very nice person. I mean, I was always very lovable and loving, but, you know, if you know, like, I was the kind of person who, if I hurt your feelings, you know, I would be stubborn and never apologize and be like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's not my fault, you know. So anyway, is what it is. So, and I, you know, this person also, you know, criticized me for disclosing my insecurity, like used that as a tool for his argument against me. And he spoke about me in the third person. So I'm assuming this is all coming out for his expose on me, or what, I don't know what, because he also said, I'm going to warn the world about you, warn them of the dangers of who you are. Like, okay, man, you know, warn the world, you know, let them all know. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but isn't it nice to hear that, you know, very moderately not so successful game composer like myself can openly talk about the fact that I'm insecure, and that you guys are not alone if you feel that way? Doesn't that give you a little bit of strength? I would hope so, you know. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, all that being said, I think it's probably a good a time as any for us to wrap things up. But yeah, self-reflection, man. Yeah, we're not alone, Nick. You know, and Nick, come. Are you on the Discord? Come hang out. So all of you guys, by the way, come to my Discord. Join the Discord and hang out, man. I'm sure somewhere here in the stream, maybe there's like an auto bot that tells you what the Discord channel is. I don't know, maybe not. Do you guys know the Discord? Does anybody have it handy? I don't even have Discord here. Wait, let me see if I can. But guys, come by, man. We can always keep this conversation going. I'm always happy to talk to you guys. You're all a really good group of people, Anyway. Oh, you sent the funny poster? Where is it on the Discord channel? I want to see it. We have laughter in life, no? It's a beautiful thing that we can laugh at things, no? And maybe it's enough for me, that I can laugh about it and move on, So Nick, did you send it to the Discord channel? Oh, this is beautiful. I hope this person will not mind, but I will keep their name private. But somebody just reached out to me and said, "What happened? I heard you got harassed." And he says, "I do relate to this a lot." Yeah. Yeah, he's sort of describing a similar situation. Anyway, thank you so much, by the way, for saying that and reaching out. You guys are all lovely, really lovely. How could I end this stream? Let's see how it goes. I really hope he'll respond to my very sincere plea. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure where the poster is or how to find the poster. So I guess maybe we'll have to save it for next week because I don't see it on the server anywhere. Which channel is it on? Where should I be looking, guys? I'm looking in the welcome. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, is it on the stream live? There's a stream live channel. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, it's in the general chat. I don't see it, Nick. I really don't see it. There's a live stream. There is voice channels. There's the welcome stream. Pac-Man World 2. Is it in the Pac-Man World 2 text? Is that where it is? Or general, maybe? Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. I found it. Excellent. Oh, it's beautiful, man. It is just an absolute beauty. Except we got to add the thing I was mentioning. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you for doing this. But remember, we got to change the dollar sign. It's not $1,000,000. It should be 1,000,000 notes in a piano with only 10 keys in it. So, yeah, wow. It's still very funny. I love the look on my face you chose. I think that was a really good one. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. That really brought a smile on my face. I didn't, the funny thing is, like, I didn't even really notice that part of the server. You know, let's see, let me move this out of the way. And why everything is blocked here. All right. So let's see here. Move that out of the way. Oh, there we are. Okay. Anyway, guys, yeah, I think we're probably at that point of the evening. And oops. So, all right, guys. Well, anyway, so yeah, I'm just going in the general chat now. Who is Z, by the way? There's a person in my chat called Z. I'm just curious if you're also here on the live stream. I just want to know who you are. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, is Z, does anyone know who Z is in the general chat, who that is? No, just because I would probably like to talk to him. So anyway. Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Dalek. Thank you for clearing that up. Let me see here. Anyway, it is let me just see. All right, very good. Okay, guys. Wait, Dalek is saying hold on. I believe in general. It's in the general chat. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, we got it. I showed it. Here you go, fellas. All right, cool. Well, there it is, guys. So, wonderful. I don't have a Stream Deck button to do the wanted dead or alive, but I want to end the stream on a very positive note, which I want to thank you all for spending the time with me and listening to me and understanding me and being patient and showing love in general. Yeah. Thank you all for that. And like I always say, I think the purpose of life is to find some purpose in life. And I think the meaning of life is to find some meaning in life. And I thank you all again. We'll see you in 1 week. And like I said, if I do stop streaming, I'll at least come to say goodbye next week. But let's hope everything works.